The dictionary defines being present as existing or occurring in a place or thing. As a church, if we're going to be revolutionary in how we change the future in the lives of people, then we have to truly exist here in Huntington. We have to do more than just have a sign on our building and just have a Sunday morning gathering. And we have to do life together here. The dictionary also defines being present as being fully focused on or involved in what one is doing or experiencing. For us to make a change for the future, we have to be fully focused on what's going on around us and how it's affecting those around us. We've got to be involved in what everyone is experiencing. And to do that, we've got to follow the example of Jesus. So how do we do it? How do we actually be present here in Huntington? Well, first, we've got to literally be here. Being the church isn't just an attitude or part of our DNA or just a vision statement. It's not just how we live together. It's where we live together. It's who we live around. It's being here. Well, we can't let anything get in the way of us truly and literally being here in Huntington. We can't let fear or ignorance or distance or judgment or prejudice or comfort or they'll come to us kind of attitude. We can't let any of that get in the way because if we do, our eyes won't be opened to the needs around us and we won't be able to do what needs to be done to meet those needs. I believe that we have to do this no matter how fast the world is spinning out of control around us. I mean, we just can't stick our heads in the sand anymore. For us to meet needs, we talked last week how we need to literally look around us. We need to see that there are needs every day. And trust me, it's not hard. When you drive into our parking lot and there's someone leaning against the building across the way shooting up, you know there are issues and people hurting. You just got to really be willing to look. And when was the last time that you sat down and you really listened to someone who was struggling with something that was out of your sphere of understanding? They were struggling with something outside of your comfort zone. When was the last time that you sat down and gave them your full attention to really try to get an idea of why they were where they were? In Acts chapter 17 in the New Testament, Paul was in Athens and he walked around and just looked at the city. I mean, he wanted to really be where he was. In verse 17, it says that he not only went into the synagogues and listened and reasoned with the people there, but he also went into the marketplace day after day and he just listened and then responded to the philosophers who were there. He wanted to engage in conversation. He wanted to get to know them. Doing this helped him get a feel for what was going on so he could eventually share Jesus. And let's make it even more personal. When was the last time that you noticed that something was up with a coworker or somebody you're in class with or one of your neighbors and you actually sat down and took time to listen to them? We got to not just look, but we've also got to listen to what's going on around us. Being present means that you educate yourself to the things that are happening around you. In Acts chapter 17, Paul gets the opportunity to speak before the court of the Areopagus. The Areopagus was a long-established body that they basically ruled over the civil and religious life of the people in Athens. And in Paul's day, this council, this court, exercised jurisdiction, especially in matters of religion and morality. For Paul to get the chance to speak there was a really big deal. And as he stood up to speak to them, He let them know that he's been going around and he's been spending time in the city, and he's really been trying to be present, to get to know them, to know where they're coming from, to know their culture. And as he's introducing them to God, the one and true, only one, big G God, he says this in Acts 17, starting with verse 24. And I'm reading this from the Message paraphrase. He's telling the council, the God who made the world and everything in it, this master of sky and land, doesn't live in custom-made shrines or need the human race to run errands for him, as if he couldn't take care of himself. He makes the creatures. The creatures don't make him. Starting from scratch, he made the entire human race and made the earth hospitable with plenty of time and space for living, so we could seek after God and not just grope around in the dark, but actually find him. He doesn't play hide and seek with us. He's not remote. He's near. We live and move in him. Can't get away from him. One of your poets said it well. We're the God created. By using the words of one of their own poets, Paul lets them know that he cares enough about them to get to know them and the world they live in, so he can introduce God in the context of their culture. For us to be effective, to be revolutionary, we have to know who we're trying to reach. And to do that, we've got to know what's going on around us and what people are experiencing. When a missionary goes to another country, they learn the language, yes, but they, more importantly, they learn the culture and the social and political, financial and relational stuff that makes up that country. They want to know all of that so they can go and truly be present where they're going to live. What are you doing to get to know the world around you? I get the magazine called Entertainment Weekly, and I get that magazine because I'm a music person and I'm a movie person. I mean, I'm a pop culture person, but I get that magazine because it lets me know what's going on in the entertainment world. It lets me know what people are into and what's going on and what's popular and what's not. And I really believe that knowing some of that helps me be able to connect on some levels with people. What books are you reading? What podcasts are you listening to? Are you listening or watching any videos about issues that are going on right now in today's world? Man, all you got to do is just type in some things in the search bar on YouTube, and you can find videos on just about anything. I mean, on YouTube, I have found some amazing videos here lately about some of the racial issues that are going on. And some of the things I've watched, there's a guy by the name of Phil Vischer who created VeggieTales, and he's got some videos on some of the racial issues that are going on right now. That one of them I watched, and it opened my eyes to some things that I'd never thought about before. What are you doing to really be in touch with the people around you? I know they may be on their way out, but read the newspaper, watch local TV, get on local websites, and find out what the issues are. I'm learning and realizing that being ignorant on a topic is no excuse anymore. My two sons are more aware of not only what's going on, but they're more aware of the reason things are happening than I am. Church, if we're going to make change for the future, we have got to know what's coming and be present now and also when the future gets here. I don't know if you've ever thought about this, but when you strip away everything, what is it you're passionate about? What is it that you do? What is it that you're good at doing? If money wasn't an issue, what would you do with your life? Is there a cause? Is there something that you would fight for? We asked this question last week. Who or what breaks your heart? And I don't know if you've ever done this, but maybe you've asked those questions, but have you honestly sat down and tried to answer them? I believe a lot of times that when you find out what you're passionate about, that's where God is going to lead you. Or maybe that's where he's already been trying to lead you. It's where he wants to use you. In the Old Testament, in Psalm chapter 37, verse 4, it says, "Delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Commit your way to the Lord. Trust in him, and he will do this. He will make your righteousness shine like the dawn, the justice of your cause like the noonday sun." This is what happens when we seek after God, when we love him with everything that we have, when we delight ourselves in him, when we seek after him, he'll begin to show us how and where he wants us to meet needs. And I love that passage there. It says that when we seek after him and delight in him, our righteousness will shine like the dawn. We'll begin to be noticed. We will stand out. But it also says that our cause will shine like the noonday sun. I believe that when we seek after him, delight ourselves in him, I think he will make it obvious. We will notice the needs that we have a passion for. He will direct us there. He will lead us there. And then he will help us. He will use us there. He will open our eyes to what he wants done. And I believe that once our eyes are opened, he will use us. But before we're able to be effective in any of that, we've got to get back to what Jesus said in Luke chapter 4. He stood up in the synagogue there in Nazareth, and he began reading in Isaiah, and he read this: "God's Spirit is on me." We can't truly be present until we are filled with the presence of God, the Holy Spirit. Right before Jesus left the earth, he told the disciples in Acts chapter 1, on one occasion, while he was sitting with them, he gave them this command: "Do not leave Jerusalem, but wait for the gift my Father promised, which you have heard me speak about. For John baptized with water, but in a few days you will be baptized with the Holy Spirit." Did you notice what he said? He said, don't leave Jerusalem. He wanted them to be present there. Why? Because they were going to be baptized in the Spirit. He was going to begin to prepare them, to help them not just be present. He wanted to use them. Not long after that, he told them in Acts chapter 1, verse 7, "It's not for you to know the times or dates the Father has set by his own authority, but you will receive power when the Holy Spirit comes on you, and you will be my witnesses in Jerusalem and in all Judea and Samaria and to the ends of the earth." Jesus told the disciples that they would receive power when the Holy Spirit came on them, and they would be able to truly be present in Jerusalem, in Judea, and Samaria, and to the ends of the earth. They would not only be present, but he would use them. And what did the disciples do? They started the church, and they changed the world. What could we do if we allowed the Holy Spirit to fill us? Author and theologian C.S. Lewis said this: "It is when we notice the dirt that God is most present in us. It's the very sign of his presence." I believe that we need to start praying that God will fill us with his presence so we can begin to notice the dirt.